Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I just got home from work and I saw that the October book of the month is out finally. So I'll just be going through the main picks and the new add-ons. So it looks like for this month there's 6 new books to pick from. So the first is a fantasy, Red City by Marie Lu. You could also get a limited edition for $3 more. So the quick take says, welcome to the gritty, magical world of Angel City, where power takes just as much as it gives. And it says it's very gruesome. Perfect for spooky season. It's over 400 pages. It's the first in a series, multiple viewpoints, and salacious. Alchemy is the hidden art of transformation, an exclusive power wielded by crime syndicates that market it to the world's elites in the form of sand, a drug that enhances those who take it into a more perfect version of themselves. More beautiful, more charismatic, simply more. Among the gleaming skyscrapers and rolling foothills of Angel City, alchemy is controlled by 2 rival syndicates. For years, Grand Central and Lumines have been balanced on a razor's edge between polite negotiation and outright violence. But when 2 childhood friends step into that delicate equation, the city and the paths of their lives will be irrevocably transformed. The daughter of a poor single mother, Sam would do anything to claw her way into the ranks of Grand Central in search of a better life. Plucked away from his family as a boy to become a Lumine's apprentice, Ari is one of the syndicate's brightest rising stars. Once they might have loved each other, but as the 2 alchemists face off across opposite sides of an ever-escalating conflict, ambition becomes power, loyalty becomes lies, and no transformation may be perfect enough for them both to survive the coming war. That sounds pretty interesting, actually. I wonder how long this series will be. That does have content warnings. It contains mentions of child abuse, sexual assault, and suicide. Other books. I'm not sure why that didn't load, but it looks like The Kingdom of Back is by Marie Lu as well. I guess I'll refresh the page and see if that'll work. Oh, yeah. I never read that book. I did look at it, but I'm not sure what that was about. First in a series. I don't know, I might get that. It seems interesting. I don't know if I'd pay extra. Maybe I would. Next is Never Over by Claire Gilmore, and this would be an early release, and it's a romance. I like the font for Never Over. What should you do when your songwriting creative juices stop flowing? Sign up to get your heart broken, of course. Oh, and this comes out October 28th, I guess, so this would be a really early release if you got it from Book of the Month. I guess, yeah, sadness and grief, I guess that's the same thing, but that would help you, I guess, write more songs if you want to have like sad songs. Nonlinear timeline, salacious, second chance romance, and music. I don't always like the second chance romance, but let's see what the synopsis is. 25-year-old Paige Lancaster is one contract away from earning a living doing her favorite thing in the world, writing songs. But when a music industry professional suggests she might be holding back with her lyrics to lessen the heartbreak of an old flame, Paige doubts if her music is ready to be heard. In a rare impulsive move, Paige contacts Liam Bishop after 4 years of no contact to ask him for a small favor, date her, and then re-break her heart, all so she can remember what those big, song-worthy emotions felt like. And since Liam is the one who first set Paige on this career path, he hesitantly agrees. Across 3 months of Liam's summer work travel, the exes are forced to share hotel beds, rehash the past, and date in the present, all while navigating the building attraction between them they both swore was the one line of their agreement they wouldn't cross. Of course they will, though. But when it becomes near impossible not to act on the rippling chemistry and as ever-intensifying feelings blur the lines of what's actually real and what's driven by the music, Paige and Liam will both have to decide what's more important, art for the sake of it or love over everything. See, I don't know. You're caught up with your ex after 4 years. Like, you're not over it still after 4 years. Like, that seems like really extreme to me that you're not over them and then you end up building a relationship again after 4 years. I don't know, to me it sounds a little bit toxic. I'm not really that into that. I probably won't get this. No content warnings though. Next is The Haunting of Payne Hollow by Kelley Armstrong. It's a paranormal thriller. Yes, this is the kind of books that I want for October, for sure. What should be an idyllic homecoming turns into a horror made for Halloween when the past refuses to stay in the past. It is slow build, supernatural, creepy, and action-packed. I don't know if I like the horse on the cover, though. It looks like really haunting, but that's the point. Let's see. When Samantha Payne's grandfather dies, she figures she won't even get a mention in the will. After all, I cannot read today. After all, she hasn't seen him in 14 years, not since her father took his own life after being accused of murdering a child at their lakefront cottage. Her grandfather always insisted her father was innocent, despite Sam having caught him burying the child's body, his clothing streaked with blood. That is insane to witness. But when she does attend the reading of the will at the behest of her aunt, she discovers that her grandfather left her the very valuable lakefront property where the family cottage sits. I would not be going there. There's one catch. Sam needs to stay in the cottage for a month to finally face the fact she was wrong and her father was innocent, in her grandfather's words. Traveling to Payne's Hollow, Sam is faced with the realities of her childhood and the secrets kept hidden in the shadows of her memories. When her aunt goes missing a couple days into their stay, Sam begins to question everything again. Plagued by nightmares and paranoia, she begins hearing sounds in the forest and seeing shapes crawling from the water as the rippling waves of the lake promise something unspeakably dark lurking just below their surface. Oh my gosh. I think this is going to be my book this month. This sounds so creepy and scary. Perfect for October. That's exactly what I want to read. Does contain mentions of suicide, of course, because her dad commits suicide. I think that's going to be the winner, but let's see what the other three are. So this is Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. This is also early release, and it's a YA gothic. I don't know, I really like the cover. It's like, it's unsettling. Oh, it says gruesome as well. Okay. Mysteries, lies, and deceit grow out of control, literally, in this unsettling atmospheric horror. So it does say it's gruesome. So the plants, grows out of horror, or grows out of control, literally, like the plants are attacking people. LGBTQ plus themes, love that. Forbidden love, nature, and haunted house. Ooh, I don't know, maybe I'll get this too, though. But I don't often get YAs, I guess, anymore. Evander has lived like a ghost in the forgotten corners of the Hazelthorn estate ever since he was taken in by his reclusive billionaire guardian, Byron Lennox Hall, when he was a child. For his safety, Evander has been given 3 ironclad rules to follow. He can never leave the estate, he can never go into the gardens, and most importantly, he can never again be left alone with Byron's charming, underachieving grandson, Laurie. That last rule has been in place ever since Laurie tried to kill Evander 7 years ago. Wow. And yet somehow Evander is still obsessed with him. When Byron suddenly dies, Evander inherits Hazelthorn's immense Gothic mansion and acres of sprawling grounds, along with the entirety of the Lennox Hall family's vast wealth. But Evander's sure his guardian was murdered, and Laurie may be the only one who can help him find the killer before they come for Evander next. Perhaps even more concerning is how the overgrown garden is refusing to stay behind its walls, slipping its vines and spores deeper into the house with each passing day. Oh my god. As the family's dark secrets unravel alongside the growing horror of their terribly alive, bloodthirsty garden, Evander needs to find out what he's really inheriting before the garden demands to be fed once more. Just burn the garden down. Honestly, start over, burn the garden down. I get there's spores, I guess. Is it gonna like come into your like nose and mouth through spores and then it grows in you? I don't like the thought of this that much, but it does sound like really interesting of a story. It does contain mentions of child abuse. I don't know. I think I might get that one as well. But it's also a YA, so maybe I would wait and get it at the library. I'm not sure. Next is The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss, debut, magical realism. I assume it's also kind of a romance too. I'm not sure. Now playing your fiance's emotional baggage up on the big screen. Pack your popcorn and your tissues. I don't think I'd want to see that. I don't know. Romance, inspirational, emotional, and movie-ish. Emotional, I'm not super interested in, but at the end of a fog-covered alley glitters a glamorous cinema. It's nearly impossible to find. When Ellie and her fiancé Drake stumble upon it during a late-night walk, they're shocked to discover what's playing inside their red velvet auditorium. Their formative memories. See, I would watch my own. That'd be interesting to rewatch with like the perspective of me being older now. I don't know if I'd want to watch someone else's, but Drake fears what the cinema might reveal, but eventually gives in when Ellie insists they return for more viewings. She's haunted by a night from her past that she doesn't fully remember. This is her opportunity to piece the story back together. But as the memories displayed on screen inch closer to the present, they realize they're both keeping secrets from each other. So it's both of theirs somehow. With their wedding on the horizon, Ellie and Drake must decide if seeing their past changes their plans for a future together. Filled with warmth, hope, and a dash of magic, The Second Chance Cinema is both an enchanting escape and a thought-provoking examination of how our memories shape who we are. That does sound pretty interesting. No content warnings. See, I'd rather like experience that for myself though, because it is true, like the more you think about memories, the more it changes and you don't really remember accurately anymore what happened. So it'd be interesting to see the past like that, like your past. I don't know if I'd want to see any other people's, but that would be interesting. The last option is The 10-Year Affair by Aaron Somers. It's an early release and literary fiction. I don't know, the cover seems a little unsettling to me as well. This witty story of two couples in small town New York asks, does cheating count if it's only in your daydreams? Millennial, salacious, snarky, and marriage issues. Does cheating count if it's only in your daydreams? I would say if you're daydreaming about someone else, then you should probably not be with the person you're with, and you should be with someone else. But that seems like cheating to me, but whatever. When Cora meets Sam at a baby group in their small town, the chemistry between them is undeniable. Both are happily married young parents with two kids, and neither sees themselves as the type to engage in an affair. Yet their connection grows stronger, and as their lives continue to intertwine, the romantic tension between them becomes all-consuming, until their worlds unravel into two parallel timelines. Oh. I do like the parallel timelines thought. In one, they pursue their feelings, in the other, they resist. As reality splits, the everyday details of Cora's life, her depressing marketing job, her daughter's new fascination with the afterlife, her husband's obsession with podcasts about the history of rope, gain fresh perspective. How many podcast episodes could there be about the history of rope? That's interesting. The intersecting and diverging timelines blur the boundaries of reality and fantasy, questioning what might have been and what truly matters. Oh, so it's not really a diverging timeline. She is like daydreaming about it over the past 10 years. That seems insane. The 10-Year Affair is a witty, emotionally charged exploration of marriage, family life, and the roads not taken that ultimately asks, do we really want our fantasies to come true? That's true too, because a lot of the things that you're fantasizing about are not actually how it would play out. Because you don't really know the other person if you're fantasizing about them. Like, that's true. I don't know. I think that would be pretty interesting as well. Dang it, now I got too many options. Now I want like 4 of them, but maybe I will just pick 1 or 2 and go to the library for the others. But let's check out the new add-ons. I don't know, I thought add-ins. Add-ons. Looks like there's 4 new ones. I don't know why they keep putting like old ones in the middle of the new ones. Because Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross was there last month, but this is The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey. Literary fiction. This eerie exploration of nature and nurture follows 3 triplet brothers raised in a strange government program. Multiple viewpoints, creepy, siblings, and dystopian. Okay, that sounds interesting. England, 1979. Vincent, Lawrence, and William are the last remaining residents of a secluded New Forest home, part of the government's Sycamore Scheme. Sycamore Scheme. I like that name for some reason. Every day, the triplets do their chores, play their games, and take their medicine under the watchful eyes of 3 mothers. Mother Morning, Mother Afternoon, and Mother Night. Yeah, that seems very dystopian. Oh my god, their nightmares are recorded in the Book of Dreams. Their lessons are taken from the Book of Knowledge. Sounds like a cult as well. And their sins are reported in the Book of Guilt. Wow. All the boys want is to be sent to the big house in Margate, where they imagine a life of sun, sea, and fairground rides. But as the government looks to shut down the Sycamore homes, the triplets begin to question everything they have been told. Gradually surrendering its dark secrets, the Book of Guilt is a profoundly unnerving exploration of belonging in a world where some lives are valued less than others. That sounds pretty interesting as well. It does contain scenes depicting child abuse and mentions of the death of a child. I don't know if I would buy that, but I kind of want to read it. Next is Flat Earth by Annika Jade Levi. It's a debut and early release in literary fiction. I like the cover. In a collapsing society, a writer negotiates relationships, envy, and the commodification of youth, art, and sex. Cerebral, salacious, no quotation marks, and New York City. Honestly, the no quotation marks, I'm not that into. It's kind of annoying to me, but let's see what the synopsis is. Avery is a young woman attending grad school in New York, working on a collection of cultural reports and flailing financially and emotionally. Having grown up in a dysfunctional family in which she was made to take care of her parents, she now seeks to be taken care of and even infantilized, which she plays out by dating older men for money and others for the oblivion their egos offer. In an act of desperation and possibly hallucination, she had taken a fair amount of Ambien that night. Avery applies for and secures a job at a right-wing dating app. Ugh. The reports she is tasked to write for the startup eventually merge with her dissertation, resulting in a metafictional text that reveals itself on these very pages. Meanwhile, Avery's best friend Frances, an effortlessly chic emerging filmmaker from a wealthy family in the South, drops out of grad school, gets married, and somehow still manages to finish her first feature, Flat Earth. Frances's triumphant return to New York as the toast of the art world and literati sends Avery on a final tailspin, pushing her to make some of her most devastating decisions, but also ultimately bringing her back to her authentic self. Flat Earth is a coming-of-age story about America and about New York, a metafictional novel about transactionality, conspiracy theories, mimetic desire, and the difficulties of female friendship that's as sharp and ironic as it is sneakily heartbreaking. Dude, I don't know why I cannot read today, but that was a struggle. It does contain scenes depicting self-harm and mentions of sexual assault, suicide, and miscarriage. It's also cerebral. I'm not in the mood for cerebral. I think I'm going to pass on that one. Next is Kitty St. Clair's Last Dance by Kate Robb, and it's a romance. Grab your partner and don your 1940s dancing shoes for this magical love story. Non-linear timeline, magical, salacious, and cozy. Cozy could be nice. When Jules finds out that Kitty St. Clair, a resident at the retirement home where she works, has passed away and bequeathed her a dilapidated dance hall in their quaint and picturesque lakeside community, Jules is surprised. Kitty St. Clair was as eccentric as she was glamorous, but Jules cannot figure out why Kitty left her in an abandoned building. That is until Reeve, a charming, successful developer, returns to town, looking for the new owner of the dance hall, intent on turning it into luxury vacation condos. Of course he is. Ugh. Suddenly, Jules has a way to make her lifelong dream of going to med school a reality. But selling the dance hall will only add to the steadily rising real estate prices and make it harder for residents of her tiny vacation town to live there. Not to mention, Reeve also happens to be the man who Jules shared a magical night with 2 summers ago and never heard from again. Ugh. Reeve wants a second chance with Jules and is determined to earn back her trust. But can she let herself fall for him again? Does he want her or a guaranteed sale? That's true. Gotta watch for that. Jules wishes she could talk to Kitty, who always seemed to have the best advice, so she turns to the diary she left her. But as Jules falls asleep reading, she wakes up in the world of the diary. What? That's cool. 50 years ago, accompanying a young Kitty to the dance hall in all its glory. Her dream visits to Kitty's past begin to parallel the questions plaguing her in her own world. Will Kitty's past hold the keys to unlocking Jules' future? I like that. That's very interesting that she goes back in her dreams, I guess, to see how it was in its prime. No content warnings, and other books by Kate Robb is This Spells Love. I did not read that either. Sounds interesting, but I'm probably not gonna buy it. Last new add-on option is Told You So by Macy Neely. It's a memoir. Not sure who she is. Humor and strength shine in reality TV star Macy Neely's uplifting story of hope in the face of tragedy and mourning. A reality TV star. Let's continue reading. Buzzy, mama drama, drug and alcohol use, and coming of age. Macy Neely and the women of Mom Talk burst into the center of pop culture when Hulu's The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives took the world by storm. Okay, I have heard of that show, never watched it though. But the show barely scratched the surface of Macy's personal story. From becoming a mom at 20 to losing her son's father in a tragic car accident to going back to college as a single mother, she's only ever given us glimpses of the challenging things she's been through. Now, finally, she's ready to tell us everything. That sounds like a nice read. Very sad, yeah. In this inspiring and darkly funny memoir, Macy lifts the veil for readers on what growing up Mormon is really like and how its strict standards completely blow up for many young people when they get to college. That would be an interesting read. When Macy arrived at BYU, of course, on a tennis scholarship, she was unprepared to manage the temptations she'd been taught were sins. She found herself drinking too much, stuck in an abusive relationship, and on the verge of falling down a dark and dangerous path. Suddenly, she was pregnant at 19 and mourning a boyfriend she'd been building a future with. Oh wow, he died close to having the kid? That's really sad. Macy captures the period from college to adulthood with brutal honesty, grace, and humor, offering up a heartfelt portrait of a woman finding her voice and her strength. All of these trials led to her current love story, her journey with IVF, and of course, the inside story of Mom Talk. Fans looking for a juicy play-by-play on the friend group drama will get everything they want and then some. But more than anything, readers will walk away with a sense of confidence in themselves and an ability to wear their scars proudly. It does contain scenes depicting sexual assault and domestic abuse. Domestic abuse, too? Yeah, I mean, that seems interesting, but I don't know her at all. Maybe I'd read it from the library one day. I'm not gonna buy that though. I don't know, none of the add-ons seem that interesting to me. I am interested in the Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelley Armstrong. Maybe Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. The Second Chance Cinema, I'd probably read from the library. I'm not sure I would buy it. I'm not really buying romances as much anymore. The 10-Year Affair, that's also romance, I guess, but literary fiction. I could see also getting that from the library, maybe. Probably not buying it. But let me know what you're going to pick out of these, if you're going to pick anything. And if you want more bookish content, don't forget to subscribe, and check out the blog. The link will be in the description. And until next month, happy reading.